I'm Ruth Sando, and I'm retired now. I was a self-employed consultant for many years, doing consumer research, and I have a PhD in anthropology. So most of my work has involved a lot of research. Having found these large number of what I would call large number of relatives through various branches that went out to Leadville, I believe there's a few burials there of relatives, children and adults, because as I said, some of them stayed, a number of them married there and had some children and then moved on, or moved on and then perhaps had a family in another state. So they were in the grand scheme of things, they were kind of transitional, but they spent quite a few years there. So this kinship chart that I created is the oldest generation is on the right, and then the youngest is on the left. And so you see this common ancestor here, Michael T. Cullen and his wife. They were in Ireland, in County Wexford, and lived and died there. And they had many children, of whom this Thomas and David were two. Thomas is my ancestor. The name is in a box with bold lines around it. That's someone who went to Leadville. The interesting thing to me is, the stereotype is a man or a man and his brother who go out with their pickaxes and they're gonna, mine. And this is aunts and uncles and brothers and sisters. And I don't have spouses here, but there were, of course, married couples and couples with their children. So it was mixed as far as somewhat as far as age and gender and family status. I found that amazing to see the diversity of people in the family. They were all from Pennsylvania, and they were all from farming families. So, it was a radical change for them from a farm to go into a mining area. But in a mine, you need carpenters because you've got to prop up the mine with these big timbers. And you need plumbers because you've got to keep the water out of the mine. So there are other related occupations that people will actually be working in the mine, but it won't say miner. So I believe that they were all in the mines, even though there were at least two that were carpenters. I looked into where were they living, and here's some of the census records, that the early ones. So this Anastasia Murphy, she established a boarding house, which was pretty typical for women, because they couldn't go be miners. So you have all these boarders, and so the women were working pretty hard, I would imagine, cooking and cleaning and, running a boarding house, which is heavy physical labor. And the men were doing the mining. They were all doing manual labor, which they would have done on a farm. So here's another one with their residents. And then what I did is I tracked their residents in the 1883 Sanborn fire insurance map. These are available through the Library of Congress. They've digitized these old ones. And I looked up the 1880 census address for a lot of families, and then I did a blow up of portions of it. So if any of my relatives wanted to do a walking tour and see where these people lived, they would be able to find the houses. In everything I looked at, it set the stage for them. Like, one of them went back and opened up a hotel in the city that he was from. And I know that's got to be from a stake that he got while he was mining. He only spent a few years. Another went back and did farming, and so he probably had money to buy some more land. I think they did okay. I can't see evidence that they hit it rich, but it certainly was part of the economic growth of each branch of the family. And that's what I would conclude. Well, there's usually somebody in a family somewhere that's the family history nut. And that would be me. I do love local history, and to dig into past lives and see, if you read about the gold rush and the silver rush, just the boom towns in general, it's one thing. But then to take particular people and families and watch them, be part of that history it really is engaging. And so I've done this for my family history, for my own family, and hopefully then it will be passed on. But it's one of my, I feel like it's one of my contributions to my own family.